Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to episode 12 of Vicious Rants Now. I'm your host, the one and only Tim Vicious. And with this one, what we're going to be doing, I'm going to be taking a little trip in like the Wayback Machine, so to say. And I just want you guys to think for a minute, because what I'm going to be talking about, it's something that's just really, completely and utterly, fucking stupid. Here's the thing, what I'm talking about. You look at on how wrestling was 10, even 20 years ago, You know what they had the wrestlers actually do? And here's an odd concept on it. Actually wrestle! And instead, it's like this is just my perspective from when I was a kid. If anyone else remembers it differently, by all means, feel free to bring it up on here. Here, Twitter, skywriting, whatever the fuck you want to do. But when I was a kid, I remembered that that they had what felt like an 80-20 rule, where it was 80% action, 20% talk. And now it just feels like they're doing the same 80-20 rule, but the big difference is it's 80% talk and 20% action. And it's boring, it's pathetic, and it's sad. And case in point, look at with this past Monday with that little punk and rock promo. Before Dewey wound up coming out, he brought up real interesting points. The fact of, you got a guy who, for all intents and purposes, really doesn't show that much technical prowess in the ring. You give him a little cheesy gimmick where he has an imaginary friend, and yet he's on TV more times than more so than guys like Tyson Kidd or Justin Gabriel. And if you've been watching this show, I've been saying day in and day out for a good while now. Those guys them two and other guys need to get a push in a big way, because honestly, it's stale anymore. Another good example, this whole this whole Cena-Ziggler feud. You have them talking, you have them doing nothing but, I'm better than you, no, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, AJ's a whore, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, AJ's a slut. You have them doing shit like that. Honestly, what in God's good name is the creative team thinking? I'm not making this a jab on the creative team, because I already did that countless times, and I've already said, you get me and my clique, and Paul Heyman to do the writing and be the creative team, we could make a show the likes of which people would definitely remember and talk about. Hell, I remember when I was a kid, if you didn't like wrestling, you were considered an outcast. And now it's like on how it was back in the 70s and 80s, where you gotta whisper and find out about it and find people that really like it. Not just those people that'll go in, oh, I want to get this shirt because it looks cool. No, the actual fans. Not the fans of WWE or fans of Ring of Honor or TNA or New Japan, but no, actual fans of wrestling that actually like seeing wrestlers wrestle. My philosophy on it is, and I'm not the only one, because watched a documentary the other night, Doc Hayes from the Fabulous Freebirds. Don't know who they are, look them the fuck up. If you don't, anyways, Doc Hayes wound up saying it best. The fans should get a show that is at least worth double what the ticket price is. And, I mean, I'm just speaking from personal experience from when I was in the ring. I mean, even though it was backyard, and, I made sure I gave a half-decent show. I mean, I know I'm not the best guy out there, and I don't even attempt to try and say I was the best. But, my style was more like Tommy Dreamer and Sandman. That's who I emulated when I was a kid. So I based my style off them. And, I mean, I'm not a high flyer, so it's not like I can go climb up 40 feet in the air and do like a moonsault or a 450 splash. But, give the fans something worth talking about. Something that's going to make them say, that's it, I want to do this. I want to see this again. When I grow up, I want to be a wrestler. Because, honestly, Vince, you're shooting yourself in the foot with these lame-ass, lackluster storylines. If I wanted to see grade school jokes, thrown around, I'd go over to my sister's house and listen to my nephews go and talk to each other for an hour straight. Because in between talking about zombies, comics, and video games, that's all they do is just do the same kind of jokes that any other grade school kid would do. It's pathetic. It's pathetic at the fact that you wind up doing that kind of shit day in and day out, and everyone has to accept it. And heaven forbid, of course, somebody goes and tries to make some kind of talk about change in there. I mean, I try not to steal other people's lines or gimmicks or shticks, and I'm sorry for doing this, but he is a millionaire who should be a billionaire, and the only reason he's not is because he surrounds himself with glorified ass-kissing yes-men. And that is the legitimate truth. He surrounds himself with people that he likes and people that he knows won't say no to him. And in the end, look where they're at now. You look over the past year in 2012, and yeah, it was a good year financially. Yeah, it was a good year for certain wrestlers, but the fact is, you messed yourself up with so many of the pay-per-views. I mean, you look at, aside from when Brock Lesnar was in Extreme Rules and SummerSlam, name me one legitimate pay-per-view besides them two and WrestleMania that didn't call for the WWE title to be in the main event. Was it Over the Limit when you had your favorite cock handler, Hulk Hogan Cena, going up against your favorite ass kisser? Or was it when you had him go up against Show in a cage match? Well, it certainly, we all know that the one Money in the Bank match is definitely worth being a main event, right? It's not like the other title counts as a main event title. It's insultive, and I keep pushing this up time in and time out. Do not insult your fans. We're very intelligent. We're intelligent, well thought out people, and we do see the writing on the wall, even though you keep trying to paint over it day in and day out. We see things are changing. We know shit's changing. And yet you want to go, and instead of going forward, no, you want to go backward to like the 80s cartoon era. The only reason, in my opinion, that the 80s cartoon era was cool is because you had Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior and the Road Warriors. Other than those four guys, aside from those four, throw in Macho Man. Aside from those 5 guys, what else you got? Really? And also, for the record, that invitation that I threw out there before about being welcome onto the show at any point to debate, it's still open at any given point in time. If you ever wind up feeling froggy enough to come over here to Erie, I'll even pay for your hotel stay, even if it winds up making me lose my house. I will do that just to get you on here, just so that way I can talk to you in the way you deserve and need to be. Like a promoter that is delivering shit. Because honestly, even though I keep watching day in and day out, you know, that's saying you're doing something right. But honestly, the only 3 things that you're pretty much doing right is Punk, Ziggler, and Kane and Bryan's tag team. That's it. You know? It's pathetic anymore. Anyways, that's pretty much all the time I got for this episode. No one left a question for me last week, surprisingly. So, come on guys, start leaving me a question. I want to start answering some of your thoughts. I'm an open book, ask me anything. Just don't ask about why there's a hooker just don't ask on why there's a hooker in the trunk of your car. There's a long story on that. Ways, leave questions, concerns, comments, complaints on down below, or look for me on Twitter with that. I'm on Twitter at Tim Vicious. Check out my girl Roxy at Roxy's Room. Check out my partner in crime and my brother from another mother, James Steele. Roxy's on Twitter at That Roxy Girl. James is on Twitter at JX2001. Make sure you check out my clique, my family on there. Kat, Charmaine, Helen. Yeah, if I'm forgetting anyone, I'm sorry. There's a whole lot of names, and I don't really get a whole lot of time. I get to plug them on here, so I try and condense it as much as I can. Alright, so that's it. You love me, great. You hate me, fuck you.